Hello and welcome to Tiny Table Talk for The Challenge All-Stars Season 3, Episode 4. We got a good amount to go over, so let's just jump right into it, starting with... Alright, we have to talk about the Jordan and Nia hookup. Now, I think that in the context of their past seasons and comparing it to this season, it's shocking to see them get as close as they have and hook up. But I will say that in the context of just All-Stars and looking at how they've been getting along with each other in All-Stars, it's not that surprising, especially since they not only alluded to it or foreshadowed it at the beginning of this episode, but also when they entered the house in episode 1, they entered together, and me and along with other people in the comment section who commented on my Wednesday's review and recap said that there was this different vibe and feel to Jordan and Nia, and when they're together, they have a different aura around them. I'm not convinced that that was the first time that they hooked up. I'll just be real. I feel like there was this kind of like coming into the house and maybe they had dated. Maybe they didn't go all the way, but maybe they had dated prior to coming onto the season. But since we're talking about Nia, I want to talk about how we've been waiting for her to show up on the season. We know of Hurricane Nia from back in Free Agents and X's 2. And so coming onto this season, I think a lot of people were like, oh my goodness, Nia's coming back. She is going to put people in check. Yet the edit for the season has shown her very minimally on screen. Fun fact, she has had more confessionals in this episode than she had in the first 3 episodes combined. Almost doubled what she had in the first 3 episodes combined. And one confessional that I was very excited for the prospects of what could happen. At the bar scene, Nia talked about the Treehouse Alliance and how open they are and how they are a force to be reckoned with, but she also noticed how many people aren't in the Treehouse Alliance and why aren't we working together to combat this group of people who are working together, and are we going to just sit here and let them pick us off one by one? I love the idea of 2 warring alliances and them facing off against each other, because that's what made All-Stars Season 2 fun. There was this big group of heavy hitters in one room banding together to make an alliance, and not only was there a warring alliance that was formed because of this alliance over here, they didn't form because of convenience, they formed out of survival. And this is what we're seeing. I think we're seeing the building pieces of a new alliance forming to cut down the treehouse or go on a witch hunt for the witch house, kind of like what Kellyanne was calling the treehouse. But just thinking about how this game can divide in so many different ways. I mean, you have Kayla, Sylvia, Veronica, Ronnie, Derek in officially the Treehouse Alliance, but you know that Yes is being looked out after by Veronica, and Yes and Veronica are working close together. So Yes would be kind of lumped into the Treehouse Alliance, I'm sure. Then on the other side, you have Nia, who's thinking of starting a new alliance. Kellyanne would jump into the anti-Treehouse Alliance. Along with that, I think you would get Jordan because of Nia and Wes. Now, Jordan and Wes should join the non-Treehouse Alliance because in this last episode's Authority, you had so many people talking about how we don't want Wes and Jordan to win this game. With Wes, you get Nehemiah. This could be explosive. We're about to hit the halfway point of this game. There's going to be a new twist added, and I just think that this game is going to explode. And then you got Beth stirring up the drama with the John A. and MJ hookup rumors. Oh my goodness. Next episode is going to be explosive. Just seeing what could be happening next episode and how the rest of this game can transpire. Oh my gosh, I am getting goosebumps. This is going to be awesome. Now, I mentioned in the previous segment about Beth and Darrell DQing, and I have to say that I am a big fan of Darrell. I like Darrell. I love the competitor that he is. You have to give him the respect that he is owed. He is a 4-time challenge champ. He has been to 2 finals in All-Stars. He could have won last season. This episode, I have to think that this is the worst showing in a challenge episode that Darrell has ever had in his challenge career. I mean, this was a complete unraveling by Darrell. We've known since the dawn of time that Darrell doesn't like heights, but every time he goes and does a heights challenge, it doesn't seem to factor in. up until this point. He talked about in the confessional that it's just been getting worse and worse as the years have gone on. Him DQing on the daily challenge, not wanting to do it. We kind of saw him not really want to do the swing challenge either. He wasn't getting enough push on the swing to get that box, so he kind of just stayed there waiting, and then he kind of just sat there waiting to be dropped automatically, and he almost could have been sent into the elimination that episode. So it comes to this heights challenge, and he was freaking out. He pulls himself out of the game, and then going into the elimination, he's going up against Jordan. He's doing a great job in the beginning, but soon after that, he tires himself out, and he has to even pull himself out of the tube. He was hurting so bad with his legs that he couldn't finish this elimination. I mean, it wasn't technically a DQ, but he pretty much kind of bows out of the elimination, handing it to Jordan, and has to be put on a stretcher and taken to the hospital. Now, I love to hear that Darrell does not want to stop coming onto the challenge, that he wants to come in, compete, try to get to another finals, get that elusive win that he's been looking for ever since season 12, Fresh Meat. Now, personally, I do think that Darrell has a ton of gas still left in his tank, that he can keep on competing at a high level and make it to the finals and win one of these things. I really do believe that. It's just, I don't think his head was in it. I think that there was a point that this was such a quick turnaround from last season that the players who played last season are just not at that level. I mean, we saw it with Melinda with her hurt ankle. And then we have Darrell, who I just felt like, from what we have seen in the edit, wasn't 100% there, both mentally and physically and strategically. I mean, he tried to come off saying that he was throwing challenges so he didn't have to get into first place, but he wasn't doing that great at the challenges. Like, he wasn't like running at these challenges and then pulling back. It just felt like he just wasn't competing at the level that we know Darrell can compete. So I feel like I do want to see Darrell keep on coming back on these All-Star seasons. I think that he definitely needed to take a break between this last All-Stars 2 season and this season. I think that he should have waited for All-Stars 4 because I just don't think that he was fully into this game. And that's just my opinion. But what do you think about Darrell's performance this season? Do you think that he was 100% there and it was just the competition that was too steep, that he kind of underestimated how this game was going to go? Or do you think Darrell has lost a step and maybe he should think about retirement? Let me know anything and everything you thought about Darrell's performance down in the comment section below. Now let's hand out some gold stars from this past week, and I'm going to be super boring, and I'm going to hand it to Brad and Kayla. Not just because that they got first place in this challenge, but they also have locked in their third win into the Authority in a row. But I want to give a shout out to Kayla, who has the strategy down for this game. She is taking her experiences from her past seasons and putting it to use here. Having to get into groups of 3, she knew exactly not to have 3 friends in her group with her. And we've seen Kayla employ great strategy throughout this game. It was like a couple episodes ago, she was getting everybody in the Authority to talk about who their closest allies were and who they were never going to say for an elimination. I mean, bold strategies, and she's unapologetic for how she's playing. So Kayla came to play. She's actually putting together some smart strategies, some smart gameplay. Somewhat first time she's really done this in a challenge, and she's doing a fantastic job in this All-Star season. I'm personally impressed with Brad and how he's playing this game. He is stepping up against the numbers. He said he didn't want to put Cyrus in. He didn't vote in Cyrus. He said he didn't want to vote Mark. He didn't vote Mark. I want to see Brad go far. I mean, I really enjoy his gameplay. He knows who he wants to play with. He knows who he wants to protect, and he's not going to back down. No matter who's coming at him or who he could piss off, he's just going to play his game the way he wants to. And I commend Brad for doing that. So he gets a gold star, and I'll also give a gold star to Jordan for the way he won against Darrell. He had a great strategy going into that elimination. He did an impressive job in eliminations like he normally does. But that is it for the gold stars. Let's now head into this week's comment section. So now let's read some comments from my Wednesday's review and recap, and the first comment comes from Shauna, who says, "It drives me crazy every time Kayla makes a dig about how young she is and how old the other females are. She couldn't win on the main show, so they threw her a bone and let her on this one. Her and Sylvia, I don't understand how they made the cut. I roll my eyes every time Kayla makes an old person joke. It's guaranteed to happen every single episode, and it's like, all right, we get it. You were born in 1990s. Is that your only claim to fame in the confessionals, is to make an old person joke about a new person every single episode? Like, seriously, it's getting old." Get it? Get what I did there? Next comment comes from Julia, who says, "I don't understand why Kellyanne and Kendall are saying things like, the way Kayla and Sylvia are playing the game is disgusting, and how can they sleep at night? I don't see anything wrong with the way Kayla and Sylvia are playing this game. Am I missing something?" No, I'm right there with you. I think it's more on Kendall, who was saying, like, how can they sleep at night? I think Kellyanne is more used to being on the outside of the numbers. If you think about the island, if you think about the ruins, Kellyanne was always on the outside of the giant numbers. And so I think Kellyanne is taking it on the chin and is actually learning as the game is going, because we saw at the 70s party in the previous episode saying, like, we got to stop playing nice and we got to start playing smart. And she's actually attributing Kayla and Sylvia and the Treehouse Alliance for playing smart, for gathering numbers and playing a more cutthroat game. I think Kellyanne is more frustrated that her friend Kendall felt disheartened and was sad and frustrated and annoyed by how the game was going. I understand where Kendall is frustrated, not making it farther, not doing better, and it feels like people are ganging up on her. But that's an alliance. That's how the game is played, and I rolled my eyes when I heard Kendall say, like, how can they sleep at night? It's like, that's just the game that's being played. Jake D says, MJ's little whistle, yeehaw, or whatever you want to call it, it has to go. Oh my gosh, MJ was so annoying this episode. He did it like 5 times in 1 minute. He did it when he won, and then the heat right after they showed his heat was John A's heat, and so when she won, he did the same thing. It's annoying. That, whatever it is. Like, I can't even do it, but it is so annoying. I'm right there with you. I'm not a huge fan of MJ already, and the way he was being super petty this past week's episode, and then the, yeah, I made it in. I'm here. After you're almost buried in mud, now you're all cocky because you stood on a plank. Wait until you have to do a mini final and you have to run and do something. Like, we'll see how good your knee is then. FL Boy Can Scrap says, weight-based eliminations are lame and borderline unwatchable. 100%. I was not a fan of this elimination. It reminded me, like I mentioned in my review and recap, the reverse tug of war, where Derek lost against Timmy, you had Beth win against Ruthie, and it's like, it's just weight-based. And if Jordan didn't have the endurance that he did, Darrell would have won that pretty handily, kind of like how Beth did. Christian comes in with a comment saying, Jordan, against all odds, did it again, won 80% of his eliminations. I know I was just talking about how Darrell could have won that elimination and probably should have won that elimination, but Jordan did a fantastic job with his endurance, with the strategy, with his smack talk. It was another impressive win to add to his resume. Jaboy G says, the lack of confidence from Darrell, having lost in the All-Stars finals the last 2 seasons, was so evident. Sad to see that for him. Like I mentioned in the earlier segment, Darrell just didn't seem like himself. I think he really needed to take this season off. After coming in second, pretty much second in the last 2 finals, and then the quick turnaround and the level of competition in this season, I think him and Melinda should have bowed out, maybe taken some time. I think it was like a 6-week turnaround from the ending of filming All-Stars and then going home and then coming to Panama. It was only 6 weeks. So I just think that maybe doing so many seasons in succession was just like not good for his mental state, because I just don't think he was mentally in the game. Carly comes in with a comment saying, I just realized Beth is in that room on her own now. I think she will need some roommates to integrate into this cast. I think Kellyanne is in that room because I think she was bunking close to Kendall. So I think it's Kellyanne and Beth, but yeah, it's not looking good. It's not looking good at all, especially with the 2 women who seem to be on the outside, but hopefully Nia gets this new alliance getting started early in the next episode, and then we will see Beth getting integrated into a new alliance, and then everything just explodes with Beth. Exploder JC says, I think this is the first time in a while where I'm excited for Kellyanne. She has an uphill battle, but I think she can actually do some damage on the treehouse. Also, Nia pointing out the Treehouse Alliance making me think she will pull something out in the future. Yes. And you know what I'm excited for is like, again, I like Kendall as a person. I just think coming into this game and how the game was going, I think that, like how Nehemiah was talking about with Beth, that Beth doesn't have the best reputation in the challenge. And so Nehemiah wants to keep his distance from Beth because that could put a target on his back. The same thing with Kellyanne and Kendall. The longer Kendall is in the game, the bigger the target is on Kellyanne's back. Now, the damage is done. The treehouse is already eyeing Kellyanne. But without Kendall there, that opens up Kellyanne's #1 spot. Anybody can swoop in and be Kellyanne's #1. She can be free to play the game that she wants to play. She has her #1 spot open. And yeah, I'm excited to see what she can do. And the possibility of Nia and Kellyanne teaming up together. Oh my gosh. Talk about dominance. Trokar Slush Weasel says, I can't wait to see Beth win every elimination from here on out and her 10 stars give her an automatic win in the final. I have a feeling that that's what's gonna need to happen for Beth to make it super far into this season. Beth is gonna be at the bottom no matter what, and I have a feeling she's gonna be sent into the next elimination, and if somehow she wins that one, she's gonna be sent into the next elimination, and if she doesn't win into Power, or she's not in this like new alliance to combat the Treehouse Alliance, it's just gonna be Beth until Beth is out. If Beth has 10 stars going into the finals, she deserves to just get that automatic win. And the final comment comes from Boss King, who says, okay, but the preview for the next episode had me gagged. Yes. Oh my gosh. Beth bringing in the drama. Next episode, talking about MJ and Johnny hooking up, the Johnny's cheating on her husband preview, and then Johnny coming over to sit down at the booth with them, going like, I heard my name. Oh my gosh, it gave me shivers, and it's like getting me so excited. I know like Kendall is a much better competitor than Beth. At least Kendall was able to do this week's daily challenge while Beth DQ'd. But let me tell you right now, I'm happy Beth stayed for this moment right here. To stir up some drama, she'll be at the bottom no matter what, so just let the accusations fly. Let's let the rumor mill go on. And I love it. I'm so excited for next episode. But that is it for Tiny Table Talk for this week. What'd you think about this episode? Let me know that in the comment section below. Are you excited to hear that there could be a possibility of a new alliance to combat the Treehouse Alliance? Let me know that in the comment section below. Who do you think is going to go far into this game? Who are you rooting for? And let me know anything and everything you think about this episode down in the comment section below. I want to hear what you have to say, and I want to give a special shout out thank you to everyone who supports me over at patreon.com/angelcakevids. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your generosity. And thank you to everyone who is watching this video up to this point. I really, really appreciate it. I'll be back really, really soon with more Challenge All-Stars, more challenge content, more content in general. But until then, peace.